So thanks very much, Gerry, for coming in. So I suppose basically just to kind of get started, how would you describe your music? Just give us an introduction. I know we heard a bit of it there, but just to put it into words, let's say.
I suppose my music is it's very much folk based. You know, it's a singer songwriter. You know, singing with a guitar, but it has many other elements as well. So I mean, roughly, it's kind of a little bit folk, a little bit indie, a bit bluesy, and a kind of a kind of mythical twist. You know, I like writing songs that have sort of interesting storylines. So.
You like the kind of language of it? Would that be right to say?
Yeah, I'm very interested in language and words and how I can present that in a song, in a story.
All right. Well, okay. Well, as I kind of alluded to at the start of the show, you've had a bit of an interesting career. Can you kind of give me, like, very simply, a beginning to end, or beginning to now? To be honest, and I'm not saying end.
30 seconds. Far from it. 30 seconds beginning to now. Sort of learned a few chords when I was 15. Did leave and start music. Studied music in Maynooth. Played in a few bands, then went to London to do another music course, played in some bands there, playing bass, playing guitar, bit of keys, bit of singing, then got into sort of writing songs properly, did that for a few years, doing lots of open mics, lots of sessions, running sessions, then got married, then decided to move back to Ireland, and we decided to come to Limerick, and so really just getting back into it, things after a bit of a break.
Okay, and what brought you to Limerick, actually? I'd be interested to know.
I've always been kind of curious by Limerick.
Yeah?
And it's one of those cities in Ireland that I think is a great city, but, you know, it's not the obvious one that people go to. You know, everyone talks about Galway and Cork and Dublin, but, you know, there's loads going on here as well. It's a great town.
I definitely agree. Like, it's very kind of underrated, we might say. Like,
I think so,
you know, like, there's a lot more going on here than people tend to think at first thought, you know what I mean? I suppose, what attracted you to the type of genre, the type of folk and indie that you're known for? Has it always been that way, or have you tried to like kind of switch genres, or was it just folk from the beginning?
I've always been interested in sort of in Irish folk music, you know, stuff like Christy Moore and Luke Kelly, and you know, my dad sings, you know, Irish folk songs, so I suppose that storytelling aspect has always been interesting to me. And then I sort of had my own influences, you know, and like a lot of old classic rock and Tin Lizzy and stuff like that, you know. So that was sort of influenced me. And, you know, I played bass in bands for a while, so I played that sort of music. But really, I suppose the words and the stories, you know, I like telling stories, and I like to try to weave that into a song with some music. So that's always been interesting to me. And I think, you know, Irish folk music, I think, is a big part in that.
You're saying a lot about like writing stories and sharing stories and things like that. Do you think that your songs based off of true stories in any way, or is it where do you get your inspiration?
I think, like a lot of songwriters, it's a little bit of truth and you know, a lot of embellishments. You know, so you kind of take something that's happened yourself, and then you try and think about it on a bigger scale, and maybe empathize with somebody who's, you know, had a more serious story, or things have happened to them, and you kind of put the two together.
So you kind of take a personal story and kind of convert it into a bigger story.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I've written a few songs, for example, about, you know, homelessness and, you know, things like that.
Okay.
You know, and thankfully, I've never been in that situation myself, so it's something you can't speak about from a personal level, but you can view other people and you can empathize, and you kind of create a story from that point of view, you know.
Just you mentioned your father there. Do you come from a musical family, or was it just like your father was a fan of those kind of musicians?
You know, I wouldn't say I necessarily come from a musical family, although, you know, there was music in my family, you know, my aunts and stuff did play, but, you know, like a lot of Irish households, there'd always be a sing-song anytime there was you know, a party or Christmas or whatever, and everyone had to do their party piece. So, you know, singing and that sort of thing was just quite natural in our house.
In your whole career so far, what do you think has been kind of your biggest moment? When have you felt the most proud of your work, let's say? God,
Dylan, that's a big question. I suppose the recording is up on Spotify now, although it's I haven't released anything in a while. When I released that, that was a really, really good feeling, because it was a combination of a few years' work, and we managed to pull some really, really fantastic musicians together, people that I knew on the London music scene, to record it, and that was a fantastic moment when that came out. I was really, really proud of that.
Yeah, so a lot of work was building up to that.
A lot of work. There was a lot of background work that had gone into that, you know, over a few years, kind of, you know, honing your craft, really. I think being a musician is a bit like being a carpenter. You have to sort of serve your time and learn your craft.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah, that was a proud moment.
And I suppose moving forward then, very briefly, what are your plans now going forward?
Plans going forward, I have a bunch of songs that I want to get into a studio and get recording again. So that's number one. Figuring out more about what's happening here in this great city of Limerick. I've been quite fortunate so far since I've been here. The last couple of months, I've met some really great musicians and gotten to know them. So I'll be doing some more sessions in Limerick and some other places, Cork and Galway and Dublin, eventually. So basically recording, gigging, and meeting up with new musicians and some collaborations and some surprises, I hope, too.
All right. Anyone that we might know, or is that meant to be kind of a secret for the time being?
All will be revealed soon.
Okay.
No big names at the moment, but who knows down the line? You never know.
Right. Okay. Well, I suppose watch this space. Right. So, well, thanks very much, Gerry, for coming in and for speaking to us, Gerry. Thanks.
No problem, Dill. Pleasure. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you very much.